Good evening, and welcome to this May 22nd edition of EastCast. I'm Jody Cohen with my co-anchor Shelly Talanoff and sports anchor Mike Furman. Some of tonight's highlights are faculty follies, class selection, and tomorrow night's senior prom. There's an editorial about this year's accomplishments of student government and an interview about the chess championships. And now, not quite live from Cherry Hill, it's Wednesday night. Friday evening's Faculty Follies was a roaring success. For the second year in a row, teachers and staff of East paraded their talents to help raise money for the performing arts. Ms. Joan Bruno and Mr. Richard Lacovera emceed the evening, which included a wide range of scenes and skills. Mr. Robert D. Nation staged and directed the show and also sang the bawdy duet Master of the House from Les Mis with Miss Beck, and starred as the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz with Wicked Witch Steve Schnell, Scarecrow Stan Krantz, Tin Man Keith Haynes, and Dorothy Miss Beck. Choreographer Mary Beth Quinlan earned kudos as Patty in Grease and held the company numbers together. Hope you didn't miss Mark Steele's Teen Angel or his duet in a gorilla suit and tattoo with Mr. Musumeci. Newcomer to the stage, Mr. Lucky Lavoie opened the show with Kids from Bye Bye Birdie and led the company in Sit Down, You're Rockin' the Boat from Guys and Dolls. Mr. Belgicoff sang Memory with a back projection of slides of the teachers' photos from 20 years ago. One of the delights of the evening was Library Secretary Mary Rothman's rich mezzo-soprano. Her cohorts, Ed Brannon, Charlie Musumeci, and Fred Naus, added to the fun of the evening. Other shows of hidden talents were Reva Litt's jazz numbers and Walt Ranich's solos in Grease and West Side Story. Some of our secretaries even joined the evening's entertainment, as did our substitutes. Norm Taylor and Elaine Winder wowed the audiences with their solos from Chorus Line and Grease. Special thanks to the students who served as tech crew. Thanks to Tim Brady, Ryan Madnick, Kristen Holt, Natasha Gruzemski, Nora Rubel, Kristen Johnson, Joel Wiener, and Dana Masselkoff, and other crew members who joined them on Friday. Other students were also involved on stage. Student Sarah's joined Mr. Haynes in I've Never Been in Love Before, and student Adelaide's Ronit Mitzner and Mindy Weiss joined Miss Beck in Adelaide's Lament reprise. The audience loved the evening. Freshman Adrian Abramowitz said it was very entertaining and everyone seemed to enjoy it. After the show, faculty members presented gifts to Mr. Nation, Mrs. Quinlan, and the painters had presented a cake to the students in appreciation of their help. Thanks to all who made this another memorable evening. Thanks to Tracy Denton, who videotaped the Faculty Follies.
Last Thursday, May 16th, was the Spring Choral and Orchestra concert. It was an entertainment-filled evening that wowed the audience. First, there was the pre-concert Madrigals and Bells of East singing in the hallways. Then, at 7:30, East Singers, the top singing choir, took center stage and sang a jubilant song with the text adapted from a Walt Whitman poem. Following that, the String Workshop played Choral and Fugue and Fantasia for Strings. Vocal Workshop was next with two songs and a special rendition of Bridge Over Troubled Waters with the Madrigal Singers doing the a cappella parts and the solos. Chansons, the all-female concert choir, sang next with songs such as The Turtle Dove. East Singers was next again with two powerful songs, a tribute to Leonard Bernstein from Chichester's Psalms and a spiritual called Witness with soprano soloist Tiffany Van Meter. After the pause, the orchestra played, followed by the Bells of East, Madrigal Singers, and then the orchestra again playing Hungarian Dance No. 1 and the Unfinished Symphony No. 8 by Schubert. The final number of the evening was When the Saints Go Marching In, arranged by John Rutter. Choral director Lisa Wilson led the audience in the melody. A reception followed the concert. Mr. Yurko, Mr. McGill, and Mrs. Wilson certainly outdid themselves this year. A highlight of the evening was the presentation of the senior awards. Shilpa Mehta and Dan Lin were honored by their orchestra peers, and Tiffany Van Meter and John Gunn by their choral peers for being the seniors who contributed the most to the music department during their 4 years at East.
Last Friday was the yearly Performing and Visual Arts Society, otherwise known as PAVIS, Day of Art and Festivals. The day was filled with poetry readings, debates, and art showings. The front showcases and front hallway were filled with student artwork from classes such as architecture, commercial art, sewing, painting, and photography. The auditorium was busy almost every period. Orchestras, excerpts from the variety show, excerpts from the choral and orchestra concerts were held in the auditorium. Seventh period was a special chance for students to see Mr. Steele and Mr. Cole use students in their band. It was a high-energy show. The Little Theater had the debate team, Broadway show tunes, the one acts that won the school competition, and original songs. One of the more applauded songs was the original tune composed, arranged, and performed by Alec Meltzer, Brett Wynn, and Antoine. Students could also be found in the courtyard. There, students could have a shirt tie-dyed by art students or buy a chocolate-covered strawberry from the cooking students. It was a day to be entertained and amused. The Mime Company also performed in the Little Theater and Park mimed all day. When the 2:30 bell rang, the festivities were not over. At 7 o'clock that evening, there was an art opening for the East students and a reception following it. The art teachers were decked out in tuxedos and all sorts of beautiful attire. At 8 o'clock, the faculty show was performed. All in all, it was a day dedicated to the performing and visual arts. East Student Government, under the tutelage of Dr. John Vivone, has had a most successful year. Here with us today is Jeff Perkins, Publicity Manager of East SGA. Jeff is going to be talking about the many accomplishments of student government.
This year, the SGA Foundation raised a total of $4,200 for different charities. $2,100 of that goes to the NJASC Hopes and Dreams Foundation, which grants wishes to terminally ill children. The rest we distribute to different charities like the LARC, League to Aid Retarded Children, the South Jersey AIDS Alliance, the Nathan Spare Regional Burn Treatment Center, the National Sudden Infant Death Syndrome Foundation, Reach Out, the Home and School Association. We granted $300 to the homeless and $100 to Dr. Joan Katz Scholarship Fund. And all that was from different activities SGA did this year, such as Lip Sync, Mr. East, the variety show, all that. And so thank you to everyone that came out and made these events happen.
Although the Spring Choral and Orchestra concert is over, along with the other concerts for the year, there's still a chance to see East's musical talent in person. Tonight, Wednesday, May 22nd, is the East Band Concert. The highlight of the concert will be the Wind Ensemble doing Carmina Burana. The East singers and chansons will be joining them by singing the Latin text. The popular score has been in movies such as Hamlet and Excalibur, so it is sure to be enjoyable. Tonight's concert starts at 7:30 and admission is free. Don't miss this last concert of the year. If you have seen campaign buttons and posters around Cherry Hill East, the reason is it's election time again. The positions for each class are President, Vice President, Secretary Treasurer, and Publicity Manager. On Monday, the posters were hung, and yesterday the candidates made their speeches. Today, however, was the most important day. Today was the day to vote. This year's term will last from June 1st, 1991 to May 31st, 1992. Good luck to all the candidates, and tomorrow we will find out who won.
A couple weeks ago, the National Chess Championships were held. This championship is when both ranked and unranked players compete from all over the United States. Today, Elaine Cruz is interviewing Mr. Carmen Grasso about the chess championships.
The National Chess High School Championship Tournament was held in Atlanta, Georgia, the first weekend in May. It started 1 o'clock Friday afternoon, and we ended up about 9 o'clock Sunday evening. It was a physical grind as well as a long time. We performed very well. The schools from about 35 different states. There were teams from Washington, California, Maine to Florida, Texas to Wisconsin. It was well represented from the nation, and a very nice thing about it was that many of the schools are a lot like Cherry Hill East. They're very large schools, highly academic, and talking to the kids in different schools, they are very proud of their schools. It's really funny, like they'll talk about their athletic teams being very good as well as being highly academic.
Mm-hmm. Well, what was he standing in the tournament?
Oh, the worst place you can possibly be, second. The final score was 20 for Cleveland Heights, Ohio, out of Cleveland, and 19.5 for Cherry Hill East, and another team got 19.5, and there was a tie for second, and we came in second. And we felt that we were good enough to win, but it was fun being there, and we did get their attention. They knew we were there. With a couple lucky breaks, we probably could have won. Everybody, I said, second place is nice, but there's just a ring about that national champion. And it would have been nice, but kids really performed well, and we have no complaints. When you get to that level, it's lucky breaks or good breaks, bad breaks that makes it, and they got a couple more lucky breaks than we did. We got some real lucky breaks, but ours just weren't enough to do it. But we were there, and it was fun, and the kids performed well, and A lot of compliments from other teachers and other schools about how well our kids performed and how well they behaved, what nice people they are. And really was, I felt very enjoyable. Atlanta's a beautiful city. I can see why they chose it for the '96 Olympics. In fact, they announced it while we were there. And the next day, they were selling items with '96 Olympics on it. Less than 24 hours after they made the announcement. Go ahead.
In your opinion, how is East's performance overall?
No complaints. The kids performed well. We had, in our varsity team, the 4 top players came in individually 20, 31, 32, and 38th place of our top 4 players. And in the junior varsity division, we had 1 player come in 20th. And in the novice section, which was for beginners, we had a freshman, Doug Madnick, who came in 16th place, which was his first really big tournament. It was very, very nicely done. I was pleased with her. I have no complaints. The kids really did a great job.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
This has been Elaine Cruz for EastCast.
Thank you, Elaine. And now Mike Furman brings us the sports.
Thank you, Jody. The baseball team opened up their busy week by defeating Lenape 11-4. Matt Zeberline hit a home run for the Cougars. Then East lost 10-9 to Overbrook, despite a grand slam home run by Kevin Foley. The Cougars then destroyed Triton 9-1 behind the hitting of Kevin Foley. Finally, in the Diamond Classic on Saturday, the Cherry Hill East baseball team lost in a nail-biter 2-1 to Vineland in 8 innings as Kevin Foley pitched 5 strong innings, allowing only 1 run in his first pitching outing of the year. The team carries a respectable 13-6 record. In softball, the Lady Cougars opened their week with 2 losses to Cherry Hill West and Overbrook. Then, they salvaged their week with a rare win as they revenged a loss earlier in the week to Overbrook and beat them 4-2. The team has a disappointing record of 5-13. In better news, the lacrosse team continues to have an excellent season as they beat Camden Catholic 12-10 behind Lisa Zazu's 5 goals. Then they annihilated Willingboro 17-4 as 11 different Lady Cougars scored, with Lisa Zazu leading the way with 3 goals. The Cougars' #1 rated boys tennis team had a 3-0 week, improving their undefeated record to 19-0. They defeated Vineland, Lenape, and Overbrook 5-0. Good luck to the team at the South Jersey Interscholastic Championships. So far, both doubles teams consisting of David Kurzweil and Anurag Mehta and Jay Bardwaj and Alok Mehta have advanced to the second round. Congratulations to Tanisha Smith of the girls' track team. She came in first place in the long jump and second place in the 100-meter dash at the Olympic Conference Track and Field Championship. That's all for sports, and now back to you, Sherry.
4 years ago, the class of 1991 had their freshman dance. It seems like it was only yesterday. Now the time has come for their senior prom. Students attending the prom have been preparing for weeks, even months, for this special night. Tomorrow, May 23rd, from 8 to 1 o'clock, the mansion at Main Street will host Cherry Hill East Senior Prom. The girls are all excited to finally wear their dresses, while the guys are busy ordering last-minute corsages and picking up their tuxedos. The prom theme is Here and Now by Luther Vandross. Remember, seniors, besides graduation, this is the last big event of your senior year. Don't spoil it by drinking and driving. Have a great time. Well, that about wraps it up for this Wednesday, May 22nd edition of EastCast. As always, special thanks go out to our advisor, Miss Peggy Beck, our superhead cameraman, Mr. Gordon Hansen, and our student cameraman, Tracy Silvakin, Tracy Denton, Rhonda Weiss, Perry Schusterman, and Corey Ringer. For Jody Cohen, Mike Furman, I'm Sherry Telenoff. Have a great evening. Don't forget to stay tuned for the East Spring Choral and Orchestra concert following the junior high news. Tonight we leave you with Ophelia, who is getting ready for her visit to the prom and her 3-day weekend. Good night, Ophelia.
Good evening, and welcome to the West Report. I'm Paul Adino.
And I'm Jeff Gannon. The lead story tonight is the school's music trip. On Thursday the 16th, music students from marching band to 4 choral groups embarked on a 6-hour drive to Norfolk, Virginia. where they participated for 3 days in the Norfolk by the Sea Showcase of Music Festival, where they won 11 trophies. 8 of the awards were first place, whereas the 3 other awards were for Most Outstanding Performance Instrumental, Most Outstanding Performance Choral, and in the parade competition, Best Drum Major. The students not only competed, but saw some sights as well, such as Busch Gardens, Water Country USA, and King's Dominion, where they had an exciting time. The trip was a great success, and everyone is awaiting the big trip next year. Congratulations to everyone who participated. And here's Ben Alstroff with the sophomore news.
Hello and welcome to Sophomore News. The class government would like to congratulate everyone for a successful year. To celebrate, the class is offering all sophomores a break from life by going to Great Adventure. To go, just turn in the permission form that you got this morning and $25 tomorrow, Friday, and Tuesday. The trip will be on June 1st from 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Lastly, lunch is BYO. Bring your own or buy your own. Governor Tom Estolo says that the trip should be very exciting and a much better experience than the trip to Dorney Park last year. In other news, our second personalized fundraiser ended today. The government is expecting big returns with a chance to surpass the total amount collected last fall. More on this next week. How Many Raisins in a Dollar editors David Zuzka, Eric Shaw, and Michelle Majoikis say that the final issue should be out soon. Pay attention in homeroom to receive your copy, which promises to be filled with many action-packed articles. Lastly, the class would like to remind you that elections will be held this Friday. The candidates for governor and lieutenant governor are Brian Schmidt and Deepal Doshi, Rob Wagner and Joy Lowe, and the incumbents Tom Estolo and Jen Dallow. Applications for government for next year are set to go out on June 3rd. That's all this week for Sophomore News. Now, back to the West Report.
On Saturday, May 18th, 2 fundraising events for West activities proved successful. The freshman government held a second car wash. Although the first one was more successful with $240, this car wash pulled out another $180. The car wash began at 9 o'clock, but because of weather, it didn't really pick up till 10:30. Also on Saturday, the baseball team held a baseball card show at West. There were 18 tables of cards on display, and the baseball team turned out a good profit. And now for This Week in Sports with Dave Marika.
Good evening, I'm Dave Marika with this week's sports report. Last Saturday, Cherry Hill West recorded its first win in the Diamond Classic over St. James. Bo Gray was the winning pitcher and Chris Cairns went 3 for 3. The team's all-around talent will most likely ensure them a place in the state championship. In addition, the team is preparing for the state tournament by canceling some non-league games because of the state regulation, which says you can only play so many games a week. The girls' softball team entered the state tournament this week as the 8th-ranked team in the Group 3 section. The girls began by slipping past Williamstown 2-0. Elisa Skoka pitched the team to victory, and both Lynn and Joanna Elias scored the winning runs. However, for West, its state championship hopes perished as the team was beaten by a strong Cumberland team 2-1. Nonetheless, the girls play Overbrook, Gloucester Catholic, and Haddonfield this week as it finishes up the regular season. Cherry Hill West romped Camden on the 14th, 83-41 in the boys' track. West winners were Bill Addison in the high hurdles and intermediate hurdles, Chad Hayes in the 1600 and 3200, Kiri Shajostad in the 800, Charles Brown in the shot put, Garrett Brown in the discus, Jim McNaughton in the javelin, Ernie Fereni in the pole vault, and that was the last dual meet for the team. Their season record was 4-4. West swept the 1600, 3200 shot put and javelin and took first and second in the 800 intermediate hurdles, discus, and pole vault in that meet. Cherry Hill West in the Olympic Conference Championships on the 16th came in third in the American Division. West winners were Chad Hayes in the 3200, Kiri Shajostad in the 800, Bill Addison in the 400 hurdles, Kyle Young in the 1600, Garrett Brown in the discus, and Charles Brown also in the discus. West came in 4th overall. Well, that's all for sports this week. Now back to the West Report.
Last Friday, students had the opportunity to listen to a DNAP representative. DNAP is a new industry isolating DNA molecules and producing such things as sweet carrots that can be bought at McDonald's and Wawa's. The company is working on an AIDS kit for home use parallel to a pregnancy test for instant results. Already, soil kits are being used to find diseases in soils on golf courses. The seminar was open to all interested faculty and students. Spectator Mr. Hart commented, "The woman was very informational and showed students career paths."
Thank you for watching the West Report. Stay tuned for the junior school news and an East Choral and Orchestra concert. Good night.
Good night.
Hi, welcome tonight to Carusi News for May 22nd, 1991. I'm Jane Rosenberg, and first tonight we have Holly Cranbeck with an interview with Brian Lowe, a 7th grade student here at Carusi with a black belt in karate. Later on in our show, Mirage will have our Carusi Sport Report and a special interview with Dan Nardino, one of our own Little Flyers. Now I'll turn you over to Holly.
Thanks, Jane. Brian, can you tell us how someone earns a black belt in karate?
Well, about after like 5 or 6 years of practicing, you can take a test for a black belt that starts at 4 in the morning, and it goes until about 1 in the afternoon.
It's pretty long. Is it unusual for someone your age to have a black belt?
Well, not really. It's more common for older people, but a lot of kids are starting earlier, like starting at 5 years older. So.
Like, how do you practice and compete?
Well, practice, I go to class about twice a week, and I practice at home what I learned that week or something. And competing, tournament season is usually from in the spring and summer. Tournament season is usually from in the spring and summer, and there are divisions like age group and the belt rank. About two ages and 2 belt ranks to each division.
Is there any higher level to achieve besides black belt?
Well, black belt, after becoming a black belt, you become what's known as a first dan black belt or a first degree black belt. And after that, you can go all the way up to, some martial arts go up to 10th dan, but my martial art only goes up to 9th dan black belt.
Well, thank you. Back to you, Jane.
Thanks, Holly. Now here's Mirage with the sports.
Thanks, Jane. The 8th grade baseball team finished the regular season undefeated on Friday by beating Malton by a score of 8-3. For the 4th time, Joe Gomez and Chris Matarese combined efforts for the pitching win. With Anthony Succi throwing the last inning, the offense was sparked early with key hits by Jason Flory, Todd Groves, Jason Kurtz, and Frank Salerno. The semifinal playoff games will be home later next week. Carusi's 7th grade baseball team ended the season with 4 wins and 2 losses. Coach Klein stated that he has seen a tremendous improvement from all team members. And he also said that he's looking forward to a continued improvement throughout next year. Carusi's 8th grade girls softball team closed out their season by losing a 7-3 decision to Delran. Although there was a key hit made by Tracy Johnson, Delran once again widened their win by 3 runs in the last inning. Our 7th grade softball team closed the season yesterday with a loss to Christ the King School. Melanie Rose, Mandy Burke, Katie Hutchinson, Laura Leister, Rachel Pasteloff, and Lauren Quachon all had fine efforts. Mr. Capella wants to thank all the girls for their effort and determination this season. And now, I have a special guest with me today, a member of the Little Flyers, Darren Audina. Darren, what can you tell me about the Little Flyers?
Well, Little Flyers started about 30 years ago, and a lot of people that play for them go to the pros. And you have to try out for this team. It's a select team that all ages can play.
So how were you selected, and when were you selected?
Well, I started for the Little Flyers about 4 years ago, and you went to a tryout in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, and they selected a team from there.
Were there many players who were trying out?
Yeah, there's about 200 players,
So how many people are on your team right now?
about 20.
So it looks like it's pretty tough competition, just trying out for the team.
Yeah, it's all right. Pretty hard, though.
Do you compete with any other teams?
Yeah, from teams all over the world, like Canada, Russia, and teams in Europe.
So do you get to travel a lot to other places?
Yeah, mostly in the United States, though, and Canada.
Why don't you tell us a little about the tape?
The tape that you'll see is the Little Flyers in Quebec when they played the Junior Kings from Los Angeles.
So do you plan to pursue hockey as a career or just for a recreational sport?
Well, I think I'll pursue this as a recreation because you can't really play it that long. Only about 10 more years, I guess.
Okay, well, thank you, Darren. And now back to you, Jane.
Thanks, Mirage. And finally tonight, last night, Tuesday, May 21st, certain students were honored at the board meeting. For winning the 1991 essay contest for drug and alcohol education, Matt Halpin was recognized. Honored as National Spanish Contest winners was, in 7th place, our own Mirage Mehudin. Taking 8th was Grace Lascano. For French, in 6th place, Lindsay Ermy and Ron Fartig were recognized, as was Samantha Palmer for 8th place. And Lori Reineck was commended for the sculpture of hers chosen for state exhibition in the Camden County Teen Arts Festival. That's Carusi News for tonight. We won't be here next week because of the holiday, but we'll see you the following week. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.